So ultimately, that relationships is always like a two-way street, isn't it, Jono? I mean, you can be the best man like ever, best boyfriend ever on earth, but it's always a partnership, a relationship, isn't it? So it's a two-way. So you are calm and collective and sportive, but obviously Pauline has quite high qualities as well. I think most men would love to clone Pauline as well, with the qualities she has. So tell me what makes Pauline really special.
Hi Dilara.
Hey Jono,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome, thanks.
Are you excited about this?
Very excited.
I am super excited. This is going to be awesome. Right, so tell me a little bit about yourself, Jono. Obviously that you are an entrepreneur and you are all about digital marketing, that's your thing. And you are helping a lot of the business owners. So tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurship journey.
Very rocky, as for most entrepreneurs. It is, you don't realize how much struggle there is in terms of starting a business. You just think, so many people go, oh, I'm going to just start a business and I'm going to just run with it. And clients will start coming to me and you'll start making money, you start making a difference. Far from it, as we would know.
Yep.
And most people would agree, it is one of the most hardest thing that you do in your life, as well as probably raising a child and all those, but I don't know yet because I don't have one yet. But from what I've seen and what I've heard, and I raise applaud to those that do start businesses when they do have child and children and start a family whilst having a business, because it's like running a business is like having a child. It is your main priority. It would take main focus, time, attention. You can't even leave it for 1 second because things could change so quick. And that is the point where I realized, wow, it's not as easy as it seems. And there's so much more that we have to learn in terms of being a business owner, being an entrepreneur. We have to think about accounting. We have to make sure the books are looking good. We have to make sure the customers are happy. We have to make sure the marketing is on point. We have to do the sales, and we have to do everything. And that is the part where relationships, family, time with friends, things would be sacrificed. I say sacrifice as if it was a bad thing, but it just goes down your priority list. Friendships especially is probably one of the hardest, because what I realized in this journey is the more I'm striving to become a better business owner, a better entrepreneur, I'm also striving to be the best version of myself. Which means I have to look after my own health, which means I have to look at, because the thing is, if we don't look after our own health, how else are we going to take care of those that's going to be around us? And that's why I would say health is one of my key values at the moment, is making sure health is priority. And when you start looking after yourself, your friends that you started off with in that journey, that you created over the years, whether it's from childhood, college, to university, to work, they all start to fade away. And I think that's the most thing that pained me the most on this journey, was seeing friends that I've built up over the years just starting to disappear away from my life. You know, we don't even talk anymore. You know, used to you talk every day, and nowadays you probably don't even talk once a year, if that, maybe a happy birthday, if that ever comes. But sometimes that doesn't even happen. We also rely on Facebook to tell us whether it's someone's birthday or not, and we rarely do keep on calendar people's birthdays. And I think we used to do that. We'd have it on our calendars, or we'd write on our diaries our friends' birthdays, and then we would seek to wish them birthdays. But nowadays it's all about Facebook. But what if you're not on Facebook? You forget, or you don't have it in your calendar, you forget, you don't even text them, you don't even wish them Happy Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Birthday. You start becoming more distant.
Would you say that entrepreneurship is a bit of a lonely journey?
Very lonely journey. I guess because I'm the only child in the family, I've been accustomed to being alone and spending time by myself. I don't have brothers or sisters that I could talk to or that I could share my concerns with, or any challenges that I'm facing. I don't have anyone that I could give me guidance. My parents didn't really give me guidance. They were never around most of my childhood. They were so busy working. And by the time I guess I was probably about 5 or 6, I was already cooking food for myself. I was making my own lunches, I was cooking my own dinners after school, because my parents was not there. And so when my, I guess, friends and others asked me, can you cook? And I was like, well, I can cook, I can wash, I can do all the chores in the house. What's wrong with that? And it's as if that's alien language to them, because they never did it themselves. They always had the parents or their brothers or sisters, older brothers or sisters, that took care of those things. So when it came to things like university, they were all surprised that I was so independent. And being used to being alone throughout my whole life, entrepreneurship doesn't seem any different. It's just a matter of playing a different game. I'm playing this game differently than I would if I was to, I guess, play with others in a way, is surround yourself with a team and do things differently. So being in entrepreneurship, the other great thing about it, as well as being alone, and it is tough, especially when you are in your own thoughts. The best thing about entrepreneurship is the new circle and new friends that you get to make along that journey. You get to meet new individuals, new like-minded people who strive to either make a difference, make a living, or just wanting to take care of their family. I mean, it's not like, yes, a lot of them probably have like big dreams of creating a new Facebook, a new Google, or things like that. But some people who get onto entrepreneurship is literally just to have a normal living, look after their family, live life on their own terms, and have the freedom and flexibility to do so.
So, Jono, it's a lonely journey.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your biggest supporter
Who's my biggest supporter?
on this journey?
My biggest supporter from the day I decided to even think about business would be my partner, Pauline. She has been by my side since I was probably 13. And so she's been in part of my life, the best part of my life. We've known each other since 13. We talked throughout into university. We still kept in contact online, and when we had MSN Messenger and MySpace and those old other social platforms that aren't around any longer. We kept in touch. It was only until university where we met up quite often when she moved back into London, and we started to hang out a bit more. And it was a time where there was this question of, should we get together and break that friendship? Or do we want to stay as friends and not go through to the next stage? And we chose to be together, which then after was graduation, and I went into entrepreneurship after I got my first job, was deciding that, do I want to work for other people for the rest of my life, or do I want to create the freedom and flexibility to have my own? And at that time, Pauline has been supporting me from the beginning. So she has seen my, I guess, transformation from starting out as a freelancer, a self-employed, to now actually running my own business. So I guess, yes, my biggest supporter would be Pauline in the best part of my life. But other than that is also my business partner, Ik, and also other people in my life that's come across my entrepreneurial journey, like yourself.
So we start to talk about Pauline, which is, it's fantastic because we both know that it can be very, very challenging to have a relationship with somebody who's not entrepreneur. Correct me if I'm wrong. Pauline is not entrepreneur, so she's not necessarily, I don't think she's running her business, right? So it's kind of like there's a different mindset, isn't it? That when you're an entrepreneur, it's all your life becomes your work, pretty much 24/7. That drive, that passion, that ambition, that mission that you have, and sometimes having a relationship with somebody who's not actually been through that, or that could be quite challenging. How is it for you? Did you experience that, or is it you got that understanding that
Yes.
not that many people have?
It has been challenging. From the get-go that I did my first personal development event. For those that do know what I do, I train with Tony Robbins, and I'm part of the fire team, and I'm one of the ultimates. So a lot of my surrounding and my peer group is not the normal 9-to-5s. They're all either business owners or entrepreneurs themselves, or that they are quite high level in what they do. So the thinking and the mindset behind it is completely different. And the initial struggle that I did have with Pauline, over the years, she has developed to start her own baking business. But prior to that, before she did, she was very still in the mindset, I guess different mindset of not knowing what else is out there. As we know, personal development and this area is limitless. And it is a completely different way of thinking. The possibilities, the imagination, the grit, the courage, the things that bring out the best of us and the worst in us, I'm not going to say, it's not the easiest, because it's very revealing. We lose a lot of things in our lives, but we also lose ourselves in the process. And what I mean by that is we start discovering our values. Do they align with people? Do they align with our peer group? Do they align with our friends? If they don't, what happens then? Do we cut them out of our lives? Or do we keep them in our lives? How do we keep them in our lives? And obviously the years that we've learned is we can still love them, we just spend less time with them. Which does, in a way, suck, and it's horrible. But that's just the way it is when you're going for your goals and you're trying to achieve your dreams. You sacrifice a lot of those things that most others probably would have taken for granted. I guess we take for granted most of the time because we did have those and we didn't appreciate it enough, and we don't. And for the struggle that I had was with Pauline, I tried to change her. I tried to pour in all these personal development stuff that we all learn about growth, relationships, the courage, the discipline. I tried to pour it all onto her. And that was the point where I realized, you can't change everyone. As much as we love change and we love growth, that's what we do. But sometimes for other people to change, you have to change. And you just have to, I guess, in a way, hope that one day they will get or understand what you do. And once I got more self-aware, I guess I've always been more conscious and self-aware about myself anyway, but I took it to the next level. I went to fly out suddenly to South Africa to work on super consciousness training and spirituality, and really open up the next level of consciousness and self-awareness. And when I came back from South Africa, I didn't even know who I was. So let alone anyone else wanting to know who I was. But then again, I did another pattern. I tried to teach her and train her on super consciousness and self-awareness, and I tried to pour it all onto her, which was unfair on her. And once I figured that and saw that, I was like, what I need to do is just to be the best version of me, and the rest will follow. But there were those challenges where, yes, I did try to change her mindset and change her thinking and trying to make her realize what is that change and what is it all about, so she can be more aligned to my thinking. And it was very selfish. It was very selfish. Because it was all me, 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 me. There was nothing about her, there was nothing that. But until I made a conscious choice, was to serve her the best way possible, is me being the best version of myself, which means taking care of my own business, taking full responsibility for all the good and bads that happen, for all the consequences from all the decisions and choices that I make. I take full responsibility for all that, and I guess that's what I pressured myself. And I say burden, it's not really a burden, it's more of I'm now willing to take on more responsibility to fulfill my duties, which is being the best version of myself, being the best partner. I guess that was probably one of the biggest challenges, is the mindset shift from not knowing what we know now. And I know loads of people will say, you're just crazy, or you just think really, it is just a different way of thinking. Because we raise ourselves to possibilities and open our minds. And when we open our minds, we become more curious, and we're just open to learning new things. And because the world we live in right now is it can be very, very negative. And that makes you become more closed and more closed-minded, and that stops you from learning. So I guess that's the part where our struggle is trying to make everyone understand what we do. Most people wouldn't understand what we do, but we just have to be okay with it.
Ultimately, that we can't change other people, we can only change ourselves, can't we, Jonah? And I think the biggest thing when it comes to the relationships, that we always say that as long as your core values are aligned, that's what really matters, isn't it? So as far as I know, that's one thing that you and Pauline have, that the core values, when it comes to it, it's very much aligned. Hence that you've been having this healthy relationship for so long. What would you say?
Yes, the core values has held us together. I guess that is the family value. For me, because I'm a lonely child that was growing up with just my two parents, family to me, I guess this kind of, in a way, I guess is probably one of my identities I've been given. In my name, Chinese name, is actually Poon, Ka, Jun. So Ka is actually Ga, which is family.
Wow.
So that for me has always been the unit. Me as the only child has been the unity across the Poon family, but also my mother's side, which is the Wong family. So I've always been tied into both families. It's always whenever it comes to family gatherings, I'm always the one pulling the strings to bring everyone together. So I guess it's been there, but I never realized it until I started to speak to my uncle more, who gave me more guidance. And he was more of a role model or a guide that I've had in my life, was my mother's younger brother. So he has always been telling me that, you should become more of the rock between the family and pull everyone together, and you want to, just look up, make sure everyone's okay. And I guess that's when I started to think, oh, well, this is what family is about. And yes, the core value of family is there between Pauline and I, which makes the journey easier, because eventually we do want to create our own family, but at the same time, we understand how much it means to have family around us, which is why I make so much of a point of my friend circle. I don't say it's a friend circle, I say it's more of a family. I don't prefer using the term friend as much in terms of nowadays. Friend seems to be one of those people you just talk to now and then. Hi, bye, how are you getting on? For me, that's cool, but I prefer more intimate and closer relationships. And to have closer and intimate relationships, I have those with my family, where we could just sit side by side and have an open, meaningful, deep conversation, and have no boundaries, nothing, just complete transparency. And so that's the relationship that I have with my circle.
That's beautiful. Jono, I think it's a beautiful thing. So I'm just going to ask you a little bit more questions around relationships.
Yeah.
Because obviously I run my business as well, which kind of it was a bit of a wake-up call for me in so many aspects. So it's like we discussed quite in detail at the beginning. It's not easy to be in a relationship with someone who runs their own business and entrepreneurship with that. But obviously I know you and I know Pauline. There's one thing I noticed that, and this is one of the biggest problems with a lot of people having a relationship with entrepreneurs. If they haven't been in that journey, that it brings out some insecurities and it brings up some neediness, because sometimes that you won't be able to give the time you need. Sometimes you might have to cancel the plans in the last minute, and sometimes that you might have to go to the places that you can't invite your partner. So it can, understandably, it can bring some insecurities, it can bring up some neediness, and most business owners, and I know even from myself, that we need that independence so then we can have to do that. My understanding is Pauline is actually really supporting you with that aspect. So I would love to hear more about that.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. What Pauline has done best, I guess, is given me the time and space for me to create and get my things done. She understands completely if tomorrow I had to fly out to Singapore, for instance, for a gig. And she's completely fine with that. If I go, I'm flying out to Singapore, I need to go out for 10 days. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay, cool. See you in 2 weeks. Just bring me some snacks.
Always bring the snacks. Always bring the snacks.
So, and I guess that is one of the thing I love about the relationship that I have with Pauline is that she does give me the time and space that I need whenever I need it. because yes, like you mentioned, there are times where we are just so full on for 2 or 3 weeks, probably a month, where we're so focused on getting the business running and getting things done. There's projects that needs completing, things need looking after, things need taken care of. But I always make the point when I'm with her is to schedule at least one day in a month or so, if possible, is to have a date night. And
Whole day date night.
whole day is not even a date night. It's more of a date day, where we go out for lunch, we go watch cinema, and then we go dinner, and we go dessert, and we make the whole thing. Just being present with each other. And I make a point of just not even checking the phone or doing things like that when I'm with her. So I'm fully 100% committed to being present with her. Because I know how much time I've had to sacrifice to not be with her, but to get other things done. But she also understands that for me to do all this, to give her the future that we want to create, this has to happen in the process. And this is just part of the journey. It's going to be tough, but she understands the end result that I'm trying to create. And I guess that support has been probably one of the most beautiful things I've ever had in my life. Because someone that could just, for them to just understand that you're going to fly out the next day to a different country for 2 or 3 weeks to do, business work or whatever, and have complete trust and faith that that is what you're going to be doing and you'll be back. And we work with loads of different people, and she has that utmost faith in me in just getting my job done. I guess that's one of the most biggest things that I have, is her being there to support me and knowing that she's got my back when I need her. So that's the hardest is yes, just going away and leaving her behind when I'm out there doing things that I need to get done. But that's just part of that process.
Yeah, I love that. She's a very, very special woman. So tell me, Jono, when did you know that she was the one?
When? Wow. I would say I guess it was probably when we decided to get together. And I know that was probably 9.5/10 years, more than that, if that. Well, when we first got together, I knew that she had something special about her. But obviously back then I didn't know what I know now. But of course, I guess it was, I saw a lot of myself in her, in which why it attracted me to her. And I was like, she's always calm, she always gets things done, she's organized. I'm not organized, but she is. That's the part she completes in me. But yeah, she's always calm, cool, collected. Like, I was like, oh yeah, I can see a lot of myself in that. I do that too, right? Well, at least I try to make sure that I act like that. I'm on the ball. That I'm not frustrated or angry or come up uncertain. And yeah, she reminds me of a lot of those traits. And we very rarely argue, which comes to a surprise to most people and say, how do you not argue? Do you not have things you disagree on? And yes, we do have our disagreements, but we don't have the anger or the energy to change it into an argument. I guess we understand that arguments don't get you anywhere. And people go, oh, but you need to have an argument so you get to feel the frustration of each other.
Who says that, Jenna?
I have no idea. This is why you're here, right? And I'm just like, and that's why I'm like, why would I want to go by that advice? If it doesn't serve us, why would I want to take it?
Who put that rule that unless you have an argument, that means you don't have a good relationship? Who said that?
I have no idea. That's what I want to know too. So if you know whoever said that, please raise that up.
Doesn't understand how to have a healthy relationship. They're like, we argue all the time. That means that everybody should have an argument.
Exactly that. And that's what I found most, I guess, fascinating. Because I know couples out there who literally cannot go by one day without an argument. They have to kick up a fuss. They have to throw abuse at each other. They have to torment each other. And I'm just like, really?
In the name of love.
I don't get it. Maybe someone could educate me and raise my awareness about it. How is that serving you in a healthy relationship? But to me, that doesn't create any end results, and it doesn't serve in terms of making the right choices. I mean, when you're angry and you're frustrated, how much of a choice or decision, how healthy can it be? And once you make that choice or that decision when you're frustrated, does it actually serve you, or do you face the after effects? Or is there something else that happens afterwards instead? So please feel free to educate me. Do you have to have an argument
Jonah,
to have a healthy relationship?
Jonah, you've been together with Pauline, with the same woman, for the past 10 years, and it's gone very healthy. I don't think you need a relationship advice on that aspect, do you? So clearly it's working. Don't touch it.
Okay.
No, if something is working,
Don't think so.
keep it. It really doesn't matter. But now, I'm just curious. Can you remember the last time you argued or you raised your voice? What was that about?
The last time we had a disagreement was in Japan.
And it was about... Can you remember?
Washing up detergent.
I'm telling you that this is just like a domesticated stuff. How long was that ago? How long ago?
That was about 3 years.
The last argument you had 3 years ago.
It wasn't even an argument, it was a disagreement. The disagreement was because I didn't know how the washing machine worked to clean the clothes. I wasn't sure where to put the detergent. So I was like, do you just put it in the bottle and just throw it in with the clothes? And she was like, no. You put it at the top in the container and all those. And I was like, but in this washing machine, there was no detergent slot where you open up and pour in. And I just saw that. So that's why I said, do you not just pour it in here and then you just throw it with the clothes and let it wash? And so obviously that was the disagreement.
How did you guys make the peace?
Well, I just said, I'm not sure what I'm doing, so please could you take care of it?
Fantastic.
And that was it. That was the last disagreement.
3 years ago?
Yeah, around that. It was 2 or 3 years ago that last time I went to Japan, and it was because I just did not know how to work this Japanese washing machine.
I see your point now.
And it was just because I just couldn't work it out. I couldn't read it. It didn't have that detergent slot, so I was like, what else do you do with whatever was that we had? And that was that.
Fantastic. So tell me, Jono, how does it work? Like, how do you have peaceful and healthy and calm relationship? Is there any secret?
No, there is no secret to this. I mean, we just talk like any other couple would do, without arguing and then throwing abuse at each other. Just make. I don't understand how people come with the argument or the need to drive up the conflict to throw and hurl abuse or shout at each other. I mean, at what point do you think that it serves in terms of the relationship? I mean, do you shout and torment your friends? Do you do that to your parents? Do you feel that's coming from a place of love, or hate or whatever, anger? And where does it come from, and what does it serve? What's the end result that happens when you do so? And I guess for us, we just have direct communication. I mean, what is it you need? What is it you want? Is there anything I could do better? Is there anything that doesn't serve our relationship right now? Is it because of the schedules or bookings? I don't know, whatnot. But she would let me know if there's anything she's unhappy with. And say vice versa. We would have that conversation of saying, is there anything that I'm doing that you feel like it's frustrating you, or you feel like it's holding you back from expressing or just being you, or do you feel like you're being suffocated? Is there anything I'm doing that makes you feel like that? And we just have that open conversation. I mean, is what I'm doing right now serving you? Is there anything I did during this time that you felt like, oh, I want to strangle you? Because I know Ick asks that question all the time. He goes, is there any time where Jono has done something and you feel like strangling him? And obviously, and Pauline's, I can't remember what she said, but she said, no, there isn't much things that makes her feel like, to strangle him. And I guess that's probably me. I'm on the right track of having a healthy relationship, because I'm not annoying her. I'm giving her the time and space that she needs wherever she needs, and in a place of service, as I would for anyone that I'm working with. It is giving them the time and space for them to grow, for them to do what they need to do, and if they need me, I'm here. But if you don't need me, then I'm still here. But if you need me, I'm here to assist, and I'm here to support. And I guess that's what I've been doing in terms of the whole growing up, family, entrepreneurship, business. My circle of family is always, if you need me, I'm here. But I'm doing my own thing as well at the same time.
So what would you say that the foundation of your relationship with Pauline?
Foundation as in...
So when a relationship is quite strong, like you and Pauline have, as we know, the things needs to be strong. The base needs to be strong. The foundation needs to be strong. So what would you say that the foundation of your relationship?
Accepting each other's bad points, I guess habits, and I guess for anyone it's just accepting each other for who they are, what they represent, what they do, what they're here to create. And I guess it's just having that understanding of each other's values, what we're here to do, what we want, what we want to create. Yeah, I guess it's just having that mutual respect for each other, as well as trust, total trust. in each other. And the funny thing is a lot of my friends that aren't in relationships, they always say to me or ask me for helping them find another half.
Yeah.
Because I'm in such a healthy relationship that I also means that I know a lot of people and my circle is quite big in general anyway. But pairing up them with people that they want was the tough one because they always have a very similar request. And this was funny because I told Pauline this and she laughed as well, was that they had to be like me. So the single girls that come to me would go, I want a boyfriend just like you.
We might as well call you, Jonah.
So this
Just
was the
read, like,
this is the funny part because they come up to me and goes, Jono, please help me find a boyfriend. And I'm just like, okay, great. What are the qualities? What do you want? They're like, I want you in terms of your personality, what you represent, what you stand for, and someone who's as confident as you are in terms of being able to have that approach of understanding of what I guess the other partner needs. And also not being a dickhead, basically.
Well, that is, I mean, come on. Nobody wants a dickhead.
And that comes up a lot. It comes up a lot. And I guess in the general, I guess, depending on which area they're looking at, you're always going to find people can be a bit of a dick sometimes. But I guess it depends on what they represent, what's the context, why are they doing that, and is there any reason behind it. But also, I guess the funny part, that funny part was, how do you find another me? Can you clone another me? And I'm just like, no. But then I look at, obviously, my entrepreneurship friends, my family circle, the ones that have better traits than I do in my circle, most of them are taken. Because they all have the certain qualities that they're looking for. You know, someone who's confident, someone who's mannered, who's not a dick, someone who's loving, who's caring, who's there to serve. And usually those ones are usually all taken. So finding someone who's single who represents that trait is not easy, but also that same goes for some of the guys that ask me for advice on how to have a healthy relationship, or how to have a relationship where you're not arguing and hurling abuse at each other. And I guess that goes down to just having that understanding between you two. How well do you know each other's love languages? But also how well you know what annoys each other. If you know what annoys each other, then you tend to do less of it.
Depends. Some people do the opposite.
Some people do it on purpose to have a laugh.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But some people really just to do it just for the sake of annoying people.
Yeah.
And I would say that's a dick move. And that's just my way of seeing it. Yeah. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I don't feel like that's a way to create a healthy relationship. You want one that's going to be, you want to attract each other more in a healthy relationship. You want to create that love and bond and security instead of pushing each other out of the way. Because the more you do it, the more they would be pushed away and start becoming more distant. And they'll start finding your behaviors even more annoying than it is. And that's when you start losing the love, the connection, and the attractiveness between each other. And that's how I feel anyway. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but that's what's worked for me.
So ultimately that relationships is always like a two-way street, isn't it, Jonah? I mean, you can be the best man like ever, best boyfriend ever on earth, but it's always a partnership, relationship, isn't it? So it's a two-way. So you are calm and collective and sportive, but obviously Pauline has quite high qualities as well. I think most men would love to clone Pauline as well, with the qualities she has. So tell me what makes Pauline really special.
So I guess this is the other part is where some of like you're right. Some of my guy friends, they come to me and goes, I want to clone a Pauline, someone who's calm, collective, who's understanding like Pauline and able to
Gives you the freedom, gives you the space, and trusts you,
and doesn't hurl abuse and shout and torment you, and that's the trait that she has. So when someone, I could say clone the Pauline is I guess is know what you want in so because for Pauline and I to work, I need the time and space to create, and she gives me that. But she also has the understanding for my needs, or in terms of what time and energy and things that I need to focus on. The tough part is I guess being away from her a lot of the time. And a lot of people would say, you're lucky Pauline does this and this and this for you, gives you the time, the understanding, the attention, flexibility, freedom, whatnot. But that works for me. And I know for a fact that for some guys, they need more, I guess, time together. Because time apart, that's fine. I'm used to that. But some guys and some girls, like relationships, they need more time together. They prefer that. And if they're not talking on the phone for an hour every night, they feel like they're disconnected or they're not together. And for me and Pauline, we don't talk on the phone at all, if that.
You guys don't talk on the phone when you not.
When we do, it's literally, hi, whereabouts are you? And the entire conversation probably lasted a minute or 2 minutes. We've not even had a phone call that's lasted probably more than 10 minutes in our whole relationship.
Really? Wow.
The time we talk is, yes, we text throughout the day, social media and WhatsApp, whatnot. But also, when we are together, that's the time we catch up. Okay. That's the time we talk. That's the time we connect. That's the time we share and go into the deep stuff. And not saying we don't do that throughout the day anyway, during the texting, but we don't call each other or have the need to pick up the phone at night, every night, and call each other for more than an hour or 10 minutes. We don't even have that. It is literally, if we were to call each other, it would be either I'm getting on the plane now, I'll see you on the other side, or where are you? I've arrived at a destination, but I don't see you. And that works for some people. That doesn't work for some people, but it works for us.
And that's what matters. Whatever works for you guys.
Yeah.
Like that. So I'm going to ask that again. What makes Pauline very special?
Yeah, I didn't answer that question, did I?
That's okay.
What makes her very special is her understanding and her awareness. She understands when I'm going through. She picks up energy from, energy sensitive, very aware when I'm going through tough times, when I need a time away and do stuff. She gives me that time. She's not like, where are you? Why have you not text back? I've not heard from you for all day. I need an answer, I need to speak to you. She doesn't have any of those, and she doesn't do that. And for some guys, they probably love that. They're like, wow, this person, you know, is all over it. She loves that time and attention. She wants me. She wants my time and attention. But Pauline doesn't crave any of that. Mm-hmm. And that gives me the freedom to do what I need. Because I know at the end of the day, I will message her when I'm done with whatever I need doing. Mm-hmm. So when I do disappear from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night, I have not said a word to her. She knows I'm out there getting things done. Mm-hmm. I'm even working on the business, the speaking, consultations, whatnot. Mm-hmm. So that's just how, and then that works for us.
But ultimately, that you never betray that trust, have you, Jono?
No.
That's the key, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you never kind of like give her any kind of reason to question anything, and vice versa. No,
and that's the, I guess that's the importance is trusting each other. Most people would say, are you seeing someone else? Are you out, you know, flirting and whatnot and causing trouble? And I mean, like, causing trouble as in doing things that's going to harm the relationship. Mm-hmm. And the answer to that is no. Mm-hmm. There's never been the need for that. Mm-hmm. And if you love each other enough, mm-hmm. you would never break that anyway. And if you even have a time when you're questioning that, then you need to self-reflect and see what's going on. Mm-hmm. You know, is there something wrong with the relationship that you have the need to think about someone else or to consider someone else? Mm-hmm. To even have that thought makes you need to question yourself, or what's going on? Is there something wrong with the relationship? Why am I not as attached or attracted to my other half that I'm with, that I have to start looking elsewhere? Mm-hmm. And for us to have that trust is one of the biggest strengths in our relationship. Because there's so many times when I know other people out there have a relationship where the other half is checking up on the other half. It's like, where are you? You haven't been around for 2 hours. Are you out seeing someone else?
It's been 10 minutes.
It's been 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes.
10 minutes, where are you? Come
It's
on.
been 10 minutes more than a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Come on, where are you?
Yeah.
Why have you not texted me back? Why have you not reported back? I need to know your exact time and location, what you're eating, what you're drinking.
Put GPS.
I need to track exactly where you are. And yet there are people who have that in their relationship. And I'm just like, wow, if you can't even trust your other half to be out there to get whatever they need to get done, how are you going to survive the next few years of relationship and whatnot, and whatever you're creating? What, you know, it's what we have works for us. And I know other you know, people would go, oh, that doesn't work for me. You know, I need to text and report myself to my other half every 5 or 10 minutes. For us to not text each other for more than 10 minutes is going to be impossible. And be like, well, what if you're in a meeting, you need to get things done, you can't have your phone in there? Yeah. What if you're on the plane for 12 hours? What's going to happen then? Are you going to say you're MIA because you're on the flight for 12 hours? I mean, like, this is, I guess, having trust is probably one of the strength, the key strength of the relationship.
Foundation, right?
Yeah, that's the foundation. If there was to go back to
like, that's the real foundation.
Actual whole trust in terms of what we do, and you know, we're not going to be looking at someone else. There's no need for it. I mean, if there was, then there's something wrong with the relationship, and we need to address it.
Yeah.
But I guess most couples would avoid that responsibility of addressing the issue, or they feel like that isn't. Like, they don't feel like that there is an issue. Sometimes that awareness doesn't crop up. And I guess that's where most people mess up. It's easy to mess up. It's not, it is. But once you know each other's trust, values, why you're in this relationship in the first place.
So, Jonah, what's future is holding for you and Pauline?
The future that's holding for me and Pauline, I guess, would be having our own place, having starting our own family, having our own pets as well.
Pets?
Yes.
Cats, dogs, both?
It's going to be,
Dogs?
I say it's one husky and one Shiba Inu.
Oh, I am the dog sitter.
And then,
Totally. Shiba.
kids-wise, I would love to have one boy and one girl.
Okay,
And that just completes the set.
That's still the girl.
And that just completes the set. And I guess that's I'm not asking for too much, I guess. It's just having the dogs that we love and having one boy, one girl to please either both sets of parents or ourselves. So I guess that's the future for us, really. And just being able to do what I do with the business, to serve my clients and my friend circle and my family circle, and to help everyone grow at the same time and have a happy life.
Just to summarize, it's just a last question, because there's a lot of people who are very confused about relationships, right? Of course, it's part of my job, but this is not about me. This is about you right now. So when so many people confuse, and you already mentioned a couple of your friends and asking certain things. So if somebody asks you, what is the key to have a healthy relationship, what would you say?
Self-awareness. Knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, knowing what triggers you, knowing what annoys you, knowing why you get angry with certain things, and just be very conscious of your behaviors. Is it, one, how is it going to affect the relationship? What's the consequences? If I was to, start an argument, how's that going to serve the issue? How's that going to address the issue? Is that going to solve the problem, or is that going to just cause more issues going forwards? And when you know, I guess, more about yourself, but know more about other people, but knowing your partner as well is important, is what are we here to achieve? Are we here to start a fight? Are we in a relationship to start fights? Or are we in a relationship to have that love, that unconditional love? Just because I did so many things for you doesn't mean I don't love you, or, there isn't a condition to the love. I don't have to do this for the love. I do this because I want to do it. I do this because it serves the relationship. I do this because I love you. I would say that's the key, is just being self-aware of your own behaviors and your own actions.
Being responsible.
Yeah, and fully taking responsibility for everything. And that's, again, that's also key, is taking full responsibility for everything, the good, bad, the ugly. And most people would say, yeah, but that's probably the hardest part, is taking full responsibility for everything. Because you feel like you're going to be suffocating. But if you change your interpretation, what if responsibility is just unconditional love? You would do whatever needs to be done to love and to have that time and to have that freedom and whatever you're working towards, whatever you're creating.
Okay. Jonah, Pauline will be watching this. What do you want to say to her when you look at that camera?
Well, firstly, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you and thank you. thank you for your hard work and your time and attention to support me in what I do. I'm sorry for all the spontaneous times where I have to just fly out the country and get things done. That's just the nature of what I do, and I love the fact that you could support me in doing so. So I love you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jonah. This
Thank
was
you, Dilara.
awesome. I really enjoyed it, bro.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you very much.